Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner broker of Your Home Sold Realty and the host of the program. Now, Barb, as the selling season winds down, I think that there are quite a few home sellers who have homes that did not sell. What are the reasons they did not sell, and what can be done about it?
Well, Richard, it doesn't matter what kind of market you're in. You have to get what I call the four P's just right, meaning preparation. Now that's kind of optional. I just sold a house recently in the north part of town that really needed some work. It was very cosmetically challenged, but they priced it right. That's the second P in order to get it sold. So it was probably priced a good 55, 60,000 below current market value. And it needed just basic stuff, like it had the carpet needed to be replaced. Probably the furnace was a bit old. The sellers did have to replace the roof through the course of the contract, but they priced it at that low number. We had a huge crowd at the open house, even though it had cosmetic issues. The buyers seemed to understand that. We had over 63 people show up to that open house in just 1 hour. We ended up getting four offers and it sold for 20,000 over asking price. And that wasn't the highest offer. That was actually the quickest offer, that gave us the most certainty that we were going to get to the finish line. There was another offer that was 20,000 more than that, but there were too many landmines in that offer, uncertainty about financing, uncertainty as to whether or not the appraisal would ask for repairs, which really, in that case, the seller wanted to sell the home as is, as easy as possible. And it worked out great. Everybody was happy. It sold right on time, and it worked out really, really nicely. And somebody got a great home at a great price in a fabulous neighborhood at some of the top schools in all of Colorado. The third P is promotion. So that really falls into the lap of whoever you choose, which is the fourth P, picking the right team to handle the sale. Not everybody understands marketing and not everybody approaches marketing the same way. That's part of my fun is I love looking at homes for sale, looking at the pictures and see if they really knocked it out of the park marketing wise. Some do, which is good. It's gotten way better than it has in the years. In fact, I just met with the seller last year. I'm sorry, I met with the seller this week, and I sold him that home back in 1998. So you can imagine, it was my listing. You can imagine how pixelated and bad the pictures were. I think we had 3 pictures. That was it. And that was high tech for the time. But what's changed over the years is the quality of the imagery has gotten so good. The buyers are making a decision as to whether or not they're even going to go see that home based on the online presentation. So you really don't have a lot of time to make an impression. Your online presentation is your first showing. And if you don't get that right, guess what? The buyers are moving on to the next house. So it's critical that you hire the right person that helps you promote it properly, that knows how to promote it properly, so that you're able to get your home sold fast and for the most money. So getting into preparation, there's two different theories on preparation. Some sellers sell their home what I call as is, right? And in those cases, the pictures still should get them there, right? You don't want to repel buyers with your photos. So you have to have some decent pictures, give them a reason to come out, because at this point, if the buyer comes out and they see the home and they're disappointed, like if there was something in the description that didn't match what they were expecting to see, I hear about it all the time. You wasted my time. And I'm like, I don't even know you. What do you mean I wasted your time? So the buyers feel this kind of like an entitlement to get all the information to help them to decide to spend their gas money to go look at the home. And if they are disappointed, they get mad. The example I have right now that I'm working on is it's a seller. It's a house that's owned by the government. It's only a 3-year-old house, and it has some structural cracking going on in the great room, and down in the basement, the baseboards are bowing out. And I finally did just put that in the description. But the thing that cracks me up is, like, even so, whatever agent is showing that buyer, it's not me that's showing the home. They don't read it. They don't pay attention. So they'll get in the door and go, "Whoa, I'm so surprised that it had this problem." I'm like, "Did you not read?" And they don't. They basically open the door. They hope the buyer loves the house, and then they start investigating it. That's kind of how it works these days. Nothing has really changed, even though we have that NAR settlement where they're supposed to have an agreement. But the agreement is not about the agent doing their due diligence. The agreement is about how they're going to get paid, and that's it. So it's a little crazy right now. So preparation is important. Pictures are very, very important. It is your first showing. And even if the house needs work, these buyers seem to have like this built-in radar for good deals, and they'll come and look at it if they think it's a good deal. I had another one a few months ago that it was a nice home in a good neighborhood, but it was challenged with cigarette smoke. They were heavy smokers, and they recognized that. They didn't paint, they didn't do carpet, they were just going to go as is. So we made it look cosmetically fine. And we had a huge crowd. I think we had 70 some people at that open house. And so for a lot of those people, it was a no-go. They didn't want to take on that kind of work, but it did end up selling for full price. So it was all about pricing it correct and promoting to get enough buyers in there to find just one that says, "Yes, I want this house. I can deal with these issues, and I can get in a great neighborhood at a great price." So what we're seeing right now is pending sales are actually trending up a little bit. That's a very good sign. It's a leading indicator. However, the number of available homes is still up by 36%. The interest rates are kind of steady as you go. Good news is mortgage applications are increasing by over 10%. That's a clue that maybe these buyers are getting ready to buy a house. And if they're waiting around for the rates to come down, I think that's a mistake. They've been pretty much the same since February. So I think it'd be big news. And I do think that you can negotiate to get your interest rate paid down with things like closing costs, having the seller pay closing costs. And if the seller doesn't want to pay it, if the seller doesn't want to pay that, the buyer can certainly go up in sales price to cover their cash issue and use that to buy their mortgage rate down and walk in with a pretty good payment. So it seems to me that Colorado is kind of absorbing the increased inventory right now. It's good for buyers because they have more choices. And I'm checking these statistics every week and kind of comparing it to the week before to see kind of what's the trend, where's it going, what's happening. But I think it's a big mistake to overprice a home. The market is absolutely going to tell you right out of the gate if you missed it, right? Because there'll be very few showings, there'll be very few calls. Like, as an example, I put a few homes on the market last week. One of them, we were getting calls every day. "Why can't I get in? How come I can't get in?" Because we kind of let everybody have a chance to see it online, and then we introduced the home with an open house. So people were chomping at the bit to get in that one, but the other one, we got very few requests. So that told me, even though both homes were in good condition, the home that got very few requests, probably the seller chose to price it higher than what the market would command. And it is their choice. We're seeing pretty big numbers of home sellers going on the market and learning that the hard way. What they're learning is, "Oh, even though I thought my home was worth more, the market's not responding. I'm getting very few showings. I'm not getting any offers. I'm not getting any activity." You can play that game for a while. I understand, that most people want the most money. Of course they do. However, that's not really the way you get the most money. And there's kind of this critical window that happens within the first 30 days of your home being on the market. If you don't have it priced right in the first 30 days, it's going to grow stale, and buyers would have already seen it and they're moving on. They're not even interested. And so what we've seen in the last 5 years is a lot of big, crazy swings in the market. We went from flying high, everything was flying off the shelf with multiple offers between 2020 and the middle of 2022 to, oops, the rates went up, buyers can't afford it anymore. And all of a sudden, they're still looking backwards at historic sales, going, well, why won't my home sell for that much? Or why won't my home sell for as much as I'm paying in property taxes? It's not working because property taxes are looking backwards as well. So it's absolutely critical that you get those 4 Ps just right. And we've been able to do that very well with some of our home sellers. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. We have hundreds of buyers that we can match to your home, and we can just give you really good information about how to approach selling your home, to give you a good statistical idea of what to do, what not to do to get ready, as well as what you can expect it to sell for and how long it will take to sell. So if you are thinking of making a move, call us at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. That's Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb. She's the host of the program, the owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. The number, 719-301-3900, or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. A short break. When we come back, we'll be discussing how to receive the highest price when you're selling your Colorado home. Stay tuned for that.